We can do this now.
Sweet.
Yeah, how's it going?
Just it's hot today. And like it's hot, but it's also really humid.
Oh yeah. Where are you at? Oh, you're in San Diego. Bro.
Yeah. I'm in Southern California. It's
Yeah.
like 95 degrees here today.
Oh my god. Just uh just so everyone knows, that's 35 Celsius. That's
Oh yeah, you guys use Celsius over there.
I know what 95 feels like. And now I
Yeah,
know what
it's
35 feels like too, and it's not fun. Like it's not a
like
fun.
yeah, it's like whenever I hear someone just like, oh, it's a boiling 32 degrees, and I'm like, what?
What does that mean? Yeah.
It's, yeah, it doesn't get below 65 here.
I mean 32 is 89. How about that? 89.6. Still hot.
Very much so.
Still hot.
How hot does it actually get in like Central Europe on the average? I
Central
imagine it's
Europe?
hovering. Yeah, I imagine it hovers around like 75.
Actually, I don't know. I'm sure someone in chat could answer. Um I mean it's like, so I'm in southern Sweden, and it's like, I don't know, on average it hits like 23 right now, so it's like 73 Fahrenheit.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah. So it's either that or it's like
Winter.
51. And then when it's winter time, it's like what is it? At night, in the middle of the night, it's like 12. It can get really chilly here.
I mean, it's Norway and Sweden and such. They are known for the ice and the cold.
Yeah, it never snows where I'm at though, which is kind of sad.
Is it like Malmo or something? Or
Yeah. It just dusts. It looks like it's gonna snow and then it lies. Anywho, let's get into your portfolio. We're just
sweet.
I can tell when it's an American in a call, because we just like start going off. We just chat away.
Probably just random stuff.
Yeah. So the weather. Oh yeah, man, it's crazy. Global warming. Oh man.
What? That's not a real thing. The oil industry tells me it's not.
um, do you want to? So, I guess, do you want to talk about how you got into 3D, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
like what you're?
It's not a bit stereotypical. It's like I started in college, and it's like I played a lot of games, but it's like one of the things is that I was really into like 2D environment art, and I was like, I'd like to make a leap into 3D. But unfortunately, like halfway through working towards that, I had to leave college, and I had to help my mom because
Mm.
she broke her hip and her lower back. So I
Oh
was like her
man.
caretaker for a few
Yeah. No,
years.
you gotta help there,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So it's like she recovered, and I recently started getting back into like working on my portfolio and whatnot.
Dude. Okay. So, how long have you been doing 3D?
Oh, if I were to include the years prior, that'd be like 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. Okay. And is the environments that are on your portfolio, are they in like a specific order, or are they just in the order that you're placing them?
They're it's from oldest to most recent.
Okay. Cool. So like this
So
this nature reclaim is the oldest one.
yeah, yeah.
And this was last year. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna go through all of this stuff. Nice. Giant American flag in there.
Hell's yeah. That one was a. I think I did that for Clinton Crumbler. You're looking at Destroyed Warehouse, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
clap ceiling. Yeah, that was It's like come up with a modular environment. So I was like, what would a destroyed bunker look like?
Right.
I was considering like skeletons and such and parts of the background, but it's like, would that be a bit too much?
It'd probably be like I mean, I guess you would, usually it's just pretty abandoned, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this one was clearly destroyed, and it had people in it, as you can tell from the body bags.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and then there's this giant bomb like just chilling.
Yeah, yeah, the ceiling's just
Yeah.
completely caved in.
Oh
I
man.
feel like I spent a lot of time like just getting the plants hanging and whatnot.
Yeah, that honestly, so that when you look at your portfolio, that's the thing that sticks out to me, is the attention to detail on that.
Oh, thank you.
Um, yeah, so Bray is in chat. He's talking about the angle of the bomb. Feels a little odd. It's like,
Oh,
so if it, I don't know if you're watching the stream at the same time.
and let me.
I can share the screen as
Is
well.
it in the voice chat stream or?
No, it's on Twitch. Here, hang on. Here.
Oh, yeah, I haven't
Uh,
used Twitch in years.
oh man, okay. I'll share the window then.
They like
So,
banned half the people I knew on Twitch. What's this person
uh,
entertaining?
Ray, where are we at here? Where the heck is the window? Oh, here we go. Okay,
Excellent.
there you go. You can see this.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'll navigate as if you're, because I don't think it'll. Yeah, it doesn't switch tabs. Okay, so you can still see this. Okay.
yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so where the bomb has fallen, it feels like it should be a little bit more here, just because of the angle
Oh,
would
yeah,
have
yeah,
hit. Like,
that makes
yeah.
sense actually.
But let's see what else we got going on here. I think the thing that really stuck out to me, like I was saying, is the foliage kind of growing around the top edge here, and like the attention to detail that you have with it. If there
Yeah,
was, yeah,
I wanted to go for like a really overgrown look, but
mm.
not too overgrown.
Yeah. It's. I
But
mean, it
it's
looks like it's within reason. Like it hasn't
yeah,
gone like insane where it's like everywhere.
or the entire inside just a garden now.
Yeah, yeah. You're not pulling that trigger, so that's. I think that's making it more realistic, honestly. Um, oh, and then you have like a detail lighting view of it. That's good. Yeah, so you can see when we look at this image here, like in this view, that all of the alphas are kind of pretty level. And I think
Yeah,
having like variety in that, or like kind of framing it in a way where some of them are shorter, or you can tell where it started to come through first. And so that would be like the longest, and then the rest kind of like it tapers off as it goes away from that.
yeah, yeah.
That would help with selling the.
Just more like a unevenness due to like the natural aspect, less
Mm-hmm.
symmetry.
Yeah, and then I guess another like nice byproduct of that is you get less of the symmetry, or like the evenness uh, goes away, right? Because it becomes more of a real like organic type of layout. Um, you have quite a bit of props in here. Did you make all of these?
Most of them are like all the
Mm,
big ones. Some of the smaller ones. Unreal every like Tuesday, like the first Tuesday of month, they'll give away like prop packs and stuff like that. So I used a
yeah.
couple of those for like just random small stuff. Like the
Dude,
trash right
nice.
here in this one, I
Yeah.
believe those are from Mega Scans because you can
Okay.
just download them.
Nice. Yeah, and okay, so when you're in Unreal, like if you switch to like um what's the way to describe this? You know the buffer views where you can see like only the albedo, or only the
Oh yeah,
color, and only the
yeah,
normal and only roughness. Getting the albedos tuned so that they're kind of in a similar saturation and value range, as well as the roughness, everything kind of feels cohesive. You'll really blend everything together much faster. Because I feel like there's some assets in here that don't feel like although no, everything feels just very level in the roughness. Like nothing's really shiny. Everything's kind of a little bit more muted. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
I'd say there's a fair level of dust layering on most stuff.
yeah, yeah. That's see, dust is really interesting because you can do that. If you can build like a really good dust pass in the shader, then if as long as it's in the shader, it's always facing like on the Y or the Z, whichever axis is up for you. Um, then you can, when you rotate props, the dust will always be on the top of it, so you can tip things over and get a little bit of dust on top, and then you don't have to bake it into the textures, because that can it can make your assets harder to reuse. But let me see what else we got going on in here. Yeah, I mean overall it's pretty cool. I did not realize that it was a bunker. I'm trying to figure out why though. Like I don't know. Um, I guess when I look in here, yeah. See, I don't know what a bunker looks like. I guess like the
I
ceiling feels a
imagine
little high, maybe.
I mentioned a lot of people haven't been in bunkers. This one was sort of supposed to be like a garage. Like
Mm,
originally, before I started adding all of the stuff where like the planks are overgrown through the crater hole.
mm-hmm.
There's actually an elevator on the other side of that, but due to the design I eventually came up with, I left that out. But there would have essentially been like a pair of blast doors. And one
Oh
of the
yeah.
early prototypes, actually, it was a winter scene, and there the background was literally like you would have partially open blast doors, and you could see like the road leading off into the distance with like
Oh man.
mountains and whatnot.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not gonna make the timeline for this. So
Right. Yeah, and the pillars look really damaged as well. Is that like, did a bomb go off, or is it just from this one falling through?
it was sort of a combination of like the damage to the building from the impact and like time where it's like wind,
Yeah.
not so much wind in this case, but like the condensation and water, like
Yeah,
it'll
it's just starting to
mess
wear
up
things
concrete.
down.
Yeah,
Okay. I think I think that's what's missing is the if you had a blast door or some type of large door, that would really kind of sell. I mean, maybe I don't know what a bunker is, but I feel like that would sell like an underground, like locked space, like that's
it's like
kind of yeah.
instead of the flag in the background, like the
Yeah,
doors
there was a
perhaps.
big door there. It's almost like a vault, right, from like
Yeah,
Fallout or
like
something. But
Fallout.
yeah, but no, it's cool. Um, I mean, let's see what else we can. The
It
body
only
bags
took
are also
Bethesda.
a good idea.
It only took Bethesda 2.5 years to get Fallout 76 to be reasonably okay.
uh, I don't know. I never played it, so I have no idea.
I can't say I did all that much. Was like the little bit that I did, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play something else.
Oh man. Oh, what is it? Okay, so this is a rundown subway.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one because I was experimenting around, like creating graffiti and like custom
Oh, you
posters
painted
for fake
these?
movies. These ones not so. Some of them I did.
Yeah.
Others ones were like I took off of like the internet. Like here's the fake movie posters right here.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's gold. Yeah, I think
That Sylvester Stallone one right there.
yeah,
If anyone's ever seen the
that's gold. It's classic. Dude, even has the Blockbuster video at the bottom. Oh man.
yeah, most of the audience probably doesn't even know what that is.
I mean, it's a meme now. That's all.
Go watch Jurassic Park 2 and you'll see it in one scene.
So, okay, so if you want to make money, rip a Blockbuster. Be kind, rewind.
There's a single Blockbuster in, I think, Oregon or Washington.
Yes. I think it's in Washington.
Yeah, it's like they went all in on like the 1995 deal.
Bray says it's closed. Bray's actually in Seattle.
That's just depressing to hear.
So
the end of an era.
This graffiti, if you got pretty good at painting graffiti, I bet you could make a killing money-wise just selling graffiti. Like on ArtStation, I feel like there's not enough graffiti kits.
Yeah, I've been considering that actually, where it's like graffiti and other sort of background stuff, like posters and such.
Yeah.
Like you would have like packs that you could use to decorate a room or a building.
Yeah,
I remember specifically
cool.
when I was making this, I had the Warriors in mind because I saw like the Warriors, and then I was like, oh man, that last scene where he's clinking the bottles.
Yeah, I mean, hang on, man, I need to remember this now.
The Warriors?
Well, the last scene you're referring to.
Oh, yeah, they're in the amusement park in there, but all throughout the movie, they're constantly going through like rundown metro stations.
Yeah, it's like the main transportation, right?
Yeah, like one gang actually has a car, or actually one has a bus and one has a car, and everyone else is on foot.
Yeah, oh, I see why you're thinking that now. As I'm looking at images of it. So it is a lot of the graffiti and the kind of dirtiness. I think so when I look at this scene, I think the thing that's throwing me off the most, so everything's kind of lit pretty evenly. Whereas like you could get a lot of interest if you could start controlling some of the lights, like if the side ones were off, or let's see here, or you were trying to lead the eye somewhere with just the way the lights are on. So like for example, in this shot, if all of the lights were off, but you had lights on up above, then you would have all these like really interesting shadows and light rays coming through this opening. And then maybe back here you have some other, another light or a colder light that kind of changes
like
the framing.
Situated in blue.
Yeah, just, like it's like you're trying to create a specific mood with the scene. This looks like
It looks
it's just
a lot
really
like just
busy.
New York.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
you got the chair down for sure.
I was in Pittsburgh once, and I remember walking through a station just like it was either Pittsburgh or Atlanta,
Yeah.
and it looked almost exactly like this. And when we went out of the station, there was like a bridge that I think actually was used in one of like the Batman movies, and there was just graffiti all over along the bottom, like 50 feet up in the air.
See, I find that so cool. Like, it's just crazy. In your scene, I feel like the graffiti is some of them are really saturated, or they have like details in them that make them feel like they're more like stickers. Like this, the guy with the chef.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if it looks like there's a normal map on it as well, I think you could just not have a normal map and it'll just accept the normals of what's under it, and then it'll really feel like it's grounded on the surface. But overall, I think the scene is quite interesting. There's like pipes above. I feel like
Yeah,
there's
that was.
supposed to be more on the ceiling. Like
I originally
don't
had
know, like beams
more
or
of them
something.
actually running across the ceiling, but
Mm,
some they would block certain parts of the scene. So, like I
right.
had some running like from left to right directly across the top.
That's quite interesting though. You can tell you were looking at reference as well, because like
Yeah, yeah,
you wouldn't know to make this bench without reference.
yeah. That when I was looking up subway benches, there were like 500 pictures of just that kind of bench.
Yeah, this one's pretty popular in New York.
I was like, I guess I'm
Man,
going with that design.
let's see here. Yeah, I mean, it's more about like just trying to lead the eye. Compositionally, it's very busy. There's just a lot happening. And like in the graffiti, you see a lot of the normal map information from like the tiles, I guess, from the image that you'd grabbed it from. So just like keeping when you do graffiti, I would say you remove all of the normal map information and just let the albedo and the roughness of the paint affect the surface of whatever it's on, and then the surface that it's on will still carry over the normal map information from under it, and you'll get a really clean, like natural result.
for
Um,
the uh, for the trash in like the
mhm.
middle of like the hallway, which is just moving some of that off to the side, so it's not taking up like the center as much. Or
Yeah, I think so. Like Blight's just saying it in chat as well. He's like, there's a good amount of scattering on the floor, but I think it would benefit from more piles, especially in the corners. So I like what you're doing with the newspapers on the ground, and it's a great way to like break up the surface as well. So it's
yeah,
working really well in that sense. Um,
yeah, I wanted to
mhm.
avoid the floor looking barren.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're doing a good job of it. Uh, Getting like if you were to think of the newspapers as like a kit, where you have a pile of newspapers. You have the newspapers that are kind of scattered about, and maybe like half the amount of this. And then you have a prop that's the newspapers against like the edge where the wall meets the floor. You can use those and kind of move them around and position them in areas that help like add logic and newspapers and trash around without it just kind of scattering everywhere. You can then kind of author it, just like you're doing at the Ivy, or the overgrowth coming through the bunker hole ceiling thing. So yeah, I think if it was to go more left and right, it would open up more and it would feel more like there's a path, but then at the same time pretty trashed. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever I look back at this, it's always like I should probably make like a path or something.
Yeah, the in chat they're saying the bench is sticking out way too much, and honestly I think that's the design of it. The way they're built is specifically so that people can sit down but no one can lay on it and sleep. And
Yeah, there's like
yeah,
those things are like designed with some kind of like anti-homeless
yeah,
aesthetic or something. It's like they didn't want people living in the subway anymore, and so they installed all of these. From what I know,
yeah, so you could sit on it but trying to sleep on it sucks. It's
like
aggressive architecture, yes.
yeah, San Diego started doing something similar here, where in this case we had like these boxes you could lock your bikes in at transit centers, and homeless people started turning them into homes, so they started like redesigning them to prevent that.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up some references on these types of seats because they're. I think it's the thing that's so it was mentioned that they're kind of sticking out color wise, and it's the saturation of it, and maybe it's like the roughness. The texture also looks a little low res, like maybe it's stretching a little bit. With an asset like this, you might be able to get away with like tiling, uh, like getting that type of wood material and then tiling it more than once, and you'll start to get some like a higher resolution look to it. But yeah, they're saying in chat now it's like means maybe darker and the benches maybe more worn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sort of considering that now myself. Like maybe tone down the brown so it's more like a darker shade,
Mm-hmm.
something more monotone and dreary.
As you can see when you do the detail lighting and then you just have the graffiti, it's actually much easier to read what the scene looks like. And then when you have it like all textured, it can be really intense because there's a lot of information to take in. I think tuning the materials so that they're close together in value, they can still be like different colors and whatnot, but getting them closer to value will kind of push it closer to this direction. And then it's just about lighting and trying to figure out like where you want the viewer to be looking.
Yeah, I'll probably bust out a couple of those lights so there's
Mm.
less even lighting.
Let's see what else we got going on here. Lost
This is a
Ruins.
yeah, this is a stylized outdoor environment attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a bunch of like stylized plants. There's a stylized building in the background, and
How did you
it
feel about it?
follows
Did you
along.
like it?
It was an interesting experience actually. Like some of the plant designs I didn't use eventually because they were kind of like this doesn't look as good as the others, so I left them out.
Mm.
And the river, rather the little stream, actually has its own little shader that was interesting to build.
Yeah, I'm trying to break down what I'm seeing here. Dude, these ring things are cool.
Yeah, those are some ruins that I saw once in like concept art, and I decided like, what if I want to make something like that?
Yeah, it does feel so. Ollie in chat was saying that it's quite interesting, but it feels a bit unfinished. I wonder what is. Is it maybe because there's not. Man, the assets individually look pretty good. There's some of the foliage on the ground is a little dark, and it's maybe a normal thing, like getting the normals of the texture. Like I was saying in the previous review, it's like if you point the normals on the geometry straight up, either in the geometry itself or in the shader, you'll like flatten that all out. And especially with stylized stuff, it's almost like you want to almost completely remove the normal in that sense. Like you just have it always facing up, so it's just full albedo almost. Um, yeah,
Yeah, that was.
yeah. Go ahead.
I run into like cases where it's like I tried to do an indoor environment, but I found like if I attempted to put too much detail, and especially in like the roughness in the normal map, it would really mess with the aesthetic and the design.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at this texture set now as well. So with the grass, what you're doing in the scene makes it really thick, right? And they all kind of melt together as they get further away. Are you familiar with mipping?
Not right offhand.
Okay, so mipping is when you have a texture that basically, let's say you have a 512 texture, and as it gets further away from you, if it drops down a mip, it lowers its resolution by a fourth, so it'll shrink down.
Oh,
And
so it's an LED style thing.
yeah, it's like LODs for textures, if you want to say it like that. And if the grass blades are really close together, the more it lods down or mips down, the smaller the mask is for cutting out the grass. And it'll get small enough where it'll just melt, like two blades will just melt together if they're too close to each other. So I can see what you're trying to do with the grass blades here. And there's so many of them that they'll just melt together like within, I don't know, like a couple feet from you, they just start to melt together. The way to combat that while still having thick grass is, I would say, you take the grass blades that are here and turn it down to like a third of what it is, and then just place more grass blades in the scene, and you'll get like a more like fluffy looking kind of foliage from it. It's the same with trees. You'll
So
get the same problem
like
with trees as well.
yeah, the trees, it was kind of interesting to figure out which ones worked and which one. Like there were a lot more pines in the original version.
Mm. Yeah, it feels like there should be trees back here in the
The
distance.
From what I recall, in the background there, I think I used an upscaled version of the rocks that's partially obscured by like the fog,
Hmm.
so to essentially enclose parts of the level.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good. So you're talking about these like smaller rocks. You scale
Yeah,
them
yeah,
up like 100 times or something, and then just put them in the distance.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I used those to box in the level, and that and like a combination of trees and train adjustment using the brush tools.
Hmm. Yeah, so I do get the stylized feel. It does feel very low poly, and I think when people are first getting into stylized work, it can be um, perceived that the low polyness is what gets that stylized look. But I think it's more about stylized art is more about the a rule set for yourself. So like if you're gonna have these hard angled edges, that the hard angled edges are always the type of angled edges you're seeing on everything, or like if you see a swirly pattern in the way the wood is painted, like the wood grain, that swirly pattern is very similar on all of the different material types uh, that are wood. But the other rule set I would say that's pretty common is just nailing a color palette. Like I think if we go down here, the reason I was saying this looks so interesting to me is stylistically the foliage on the ground here feels pretty good, and the tree here feels pretty good. It's a matter of getting these darker areas to kind of fall in line with that same kind of palette. And the
So
yeah, go ahead.
so a more even like rendering in terms of the color palette.
Yeah, if you look at the building here, and the lattice patterns here are quite dark on this side, but then they're brighter on this side. But in shadow, they become dark. And then you have these
I think
three. Yeah.
I think for the trees, actually, I had something similar where it's like parts of the tree were rendering too dark, and the full blown nature one where it's like a more realistic style.
Hmm.
And I had to adjust the emissive level of the texture itself so that it would actually fix that.
Right. So okay. So when you're adjusting the emissive, you're actually brightening up the side that's in shadow. There's a node. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think it's just backface. So you can actually map a texture separately on the backside of the tree or of the leaf, for example. So you have the top part of the leaf and the backside of the leaf, and you can actually uh, add a different texture or make them two-sided even, and completely remove the lighting from them. Because what you're doing right now is just trying to fight the lighting of like when it's on the underside, it's dark because it's in shadow, right? So
Mm-hmm.
unifying those that'll help a lot. I just wanted to say that these like curved pieces, super interesting. The language that you're getting on them with like the kind of dirt and detail there, that these are the only ones following that rule, right? This is the kind of rule set thing I was talking about. If those rules were applied to the building as well, then everything, the building and those three pieces would kind of fit together more. But if you remove that type of detail and kind of like tone down a lot of the information and just allow it to be simple like the materials here, they'll all unify in that sense.
Oh, okay. I'll probably redo the house when I
Yeah.
get a chance.
No, it's cool though. We're almost up on the 30 minutes, but did you have any questions that you wanted me to try and answer?
Could you give me some quick thoughts on the most recent one? I
Yeah.
posted some screenshots of the
Oh,
room
yeah,
that's
yeah.
right here.
Okay. Oh, dude, this is a huge step up from your other stuff as well.
Like the back wall there is a bit barren, but
Mm. It can be okay to have a wall pretty empty. I so the scene is really big. Uh, for like, there's a lot of stuff to solve, right? I think that first shot, like these two shots where you're looking at the
the artist
table,
desk.
yeah, these are really interesting to me. And I think focusing on these, you can just be focusing on like tuning those materials. But yeah, this is like, I mean, I of course there's still stuff to work on and make it better and stronger. But this is a huge step up from like your other stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
Yeah, I was having a
yeah.
lot of fun like coming up with like what to put on the papers for the artist. Like originally, I was considering like bills or whatnot because it was going to be like a Soviet scene and
Hmm.
just kind of depressing. But I decided to go with like an artist desk instead.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this you can tell so much stories with like an artist's desk. This looks like the artist is like practicing drawing D&D maps.
That was actually what I had in mind because I started playing a lot more 5e recently.
Yeah, I see it. You're like, oh yeah, we gotta draw the mountains. This is what the mountains are gonna look like that you gotta pass through. Oh man.
There's I think like 8 or 7 maps, but you can only see bits and pieces of certain ones underneath other ones.
Oh, this is really cool. The attention to detail on how you've propped it all, as well as like the curling of papers, and this is awesome. I'd be curious to
There's
see when you have some time, maybe like after the call, just message me like the albedo of some of these shots, or not the albedo,
you
sorry, the
I have
yeah.
most of the papers are just the albedos for those because they're
Okay.
all collected on like 1 or 2 textures. So I could probably just send those right away.
Yeah, but if you could get me like a render of like what the albedo and the roughness looks like on this shot, a lot of the things that are making your scene feel disjointed is because of the discrepancy between those maps. So it might be like I could just take a few minutes after the stream. You just message me a picture of those, and I can
All
just
right.
point out like, oh yeah, this should be brighter. This should be closer to this surface. Um, these albedos are too dark or too saturated, and that's why it's looking like this. And yeah, but dude, this is yeah. There's of course like everyone, there's room to improve, but yeah, you should be proud of the growth in comparison to your other scenes. That one's definitely your strongest piece now.
Thank you.
Did you have any other questions?
What do you have any quick thoughts on the nature scene where it's based around like the creek and there's
Oh, let
ravens
me
and such?
see here.
That was the one that I
Oh,
did
this one's
prior.
pretty good too. I think with this one, it's more about composition. Like none of the assets are really sticking out too much. The dock is a little off feeling, and I think it's just the darkness of the like the value of the albedo. Maybe the normals are no, that looks like albedo. Uh, you really like the last one, only the post processing grading. Um, yeah, I think it's framing, especially this one with the log going across in the two cars. You could get the car like it feels like it's just too centered. Like I'm supposed to just look at the logs and then I see the two cars. If that
Uh, should
if
I uh,
that makes
should I
sense.
move the log or possibly bring the cars forward a bit?
Yeah, I mean if the cars were on the left side and they were like maybe around here instead, and then you have the log maybe on one of the cars and then going cutting across the because you have this going this way. If you had a log going this direction and cutting across, one of the cars goes under it and the other one's kind of like over the log and like up.
All right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
it's
see
just
that
kind of
now.
like messing around with the framing to try and draw our eye somewhere around here or somewhere around here, so it's not just centered up. It's just a
Yeah,
compositional thing.
when I first started like environment art, like my biggest issue that I've been working with over time was like composition and like just the layout of like the image because it's a
Mm,
lot of times like I'll draw something but it won't explicitly be like drawing attention to something.
right.
So it's like I've been working on that over time.
No, I mean it's everyone's always working on that, man. Composition's
So
forever
like
a thing. But cool. I mean this seems pretty interesting as well. And it doesn't feel too empty, which is good. It feels pretty natural. You can see the mipping here on the tree is
oh
actually
yeah, yeah.
separated out the top. So if you actually made the alpha on the top part of that branch thicker, it'll stay longer.
I believe the trees I did all of those in speed tree, so
Mm,
they're using atlases from what I recall.
okay. Yeah, it's cool. It's
And then
nice and fluffy.
I felt like the animals added a lot of life to the scene because you know you get like these deer they're just sort of in the background just
Hmm.
enjoying themselves. You have the birds, so
Yeah, it becomes quite natural, which is nice. This is something that a lot of portfolios will miss is either having an animal or like some type of movement. Like when you have video, if the trees aren't moving, it just feels really strange. But
yeah,
yeah, it's a good
I
addition.
made sure to add like wind effects to a lot of the nature stuff I do.
Mm, yeah, it's
There
good.
was this lady had a really nice like valley image that she did, and it included a lot of animals. And I remember looking at that for reference at the time. I was like, I need to try and replicate that somehow.
Yeah, that's nice. Cool, man. Well, so I need to get out of here because we're like I'm way over on my time. But
I think it's 20 minutes over.
yeah. I'm gonna have to apologize to my family. um, mainly the dog. The dog's gonna be so mad. Yeah. If you can send me an albedo or color map of this, just the view, and then like the roughness. And when I get some time, I'll do like some highlights on things
All right.
to see if there's anything that's like really easy fixes that'll like just boost the quality.
I think I might be able to send the quick screenshot of those, and you can get around to those when you want.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and posting your portfolio.
Thank you, sir.
It's been good. And I'm glad we were able to catch you. I was getting ready to do your review, and I'm like, oh man, if we don't sync up, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
feel
was
bad.
in the other stream, and I was like, huh. I was wondering when that phone call is going to come. Apparently, you don't get alerts when you're in a stream, and you get
Oh,
another.
okay.
Yeah, let me send the message real quick. If game would or if Discord would let me.
Yeah, cool.
But
Okay.
yeah, I have the. All right, yeah, I'll send those over to you, and just get back to me when you feel like it.
All right, man. I will do that. I guess
Thank
I'll
you.
talk to you later then.
Same to you, sir, and you have a good day.
You too. All right, bye.
Goodbye.
Oh man, lots of Americans today. I love it. Don't get very many of those. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna get out of here.